Okay, hello guys, welcome to my first IIS tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to work with a server which is the IIS server, that's the Internet Information System server. So right now, basically, you need to understand that on the website you have both the front end and the back end. The front end of the website, also called the client side, composed of its own languages, and it is mostly considered by languages which are understood by the browser. So you have to understand that your browser understands those HTML, CSS, CSS and JavaScript. So basically, every website you see on the browser is made up of these three languages, and any other language goes to the server. That's what they call the server side of the website. The server side, which is mostly languages that runs on the server. You can have a language like JavaScript. It runs on the server when you use it with Node.js and MongoDB. Okay, the next language is PHP. It runs on the server when you use it with SQL, with an SQL database. An example is Zampi or Wampi. And basically our main focus here will be ASP, which is going to run on an IIS server. The IIS server was created by Microsoft in the 1990s. And lately it has hardly been used, even though some companies still struggle to use this version of server. So right now, let's base our focus on these two things, the front end and the back end. So let's get started with the IIS server, because that's our main focus right here. So for you to get started with the IIS server, I'll close this Windows. I'll come to my search bar right here. Click on Control Panel. Okay, I click on it, and there we go. The first thing you have to check here. Normally, first of all, before you get started with the IIS server, you need to configure. You need to configure your machine. You need to configure it in order to install the server. So you come to Programs, you go to Turn on and off Windows feature. So it will give you this pop-up. Now the first thing I want you to do is to check this Internet Information System. If it is not checked, if it does not give you this dot on it, you have to check it. So I'll expand it more. You have to come to Web Management Tools, you expand. You go to World Wide Web Services. You make sure you check the application development features. I'll expand it more. Okay, there are three things you have to check right here. You have to check ASP, you check CGI, you check ISAPI extensions. So when you check all of this, you click on Apply or OK. It is definitely going to install on your computer. Once it installs, you will have to restart your PC in order to make it run perfectly on your PC. So after you've restarted your PC, you come right here, you search for IIS. It's going to give you this pop-up. You are going to want to click on it. It will take you to the server dashboard. Here is the server dashboard right here. And now on the server dashboard, we are going to focus on what we want to use here. Normally it has a lot of features, so we focus on the basic thing we're supposed to use here. the first thing you are supposed to know how to use. Let's go back. If that is done, then let's go back. I want you to come right here to this PC. Look at Dixie. I'll open it. Okay, the next thing is you go to Internet Hub. In the local Dixie, go to Internet Hub. www. And here is where I'm going to create the website, because definitely if you want to access it remotely from anywhere on your computer, you have to save it in this www folder. That's where the IIS server is going to be extracting your website. So I will right click, I'll create a new folder. I'll call it register. Now in this register, I'm going to be writing the ASP codes and the HTML and CSS.
Are you going to put anything tomorrow? I never have anything tomorrow.
Patience. Okay, right now, the first thing I will do here is I will create my HTML file. I'll give it index, or I'll give it home.html. And here I'm going to be writing the basic codes to create the form. First of all, I want to create the main tag. Into that main tag, I have an h1 tag, register, students. Under this, I'll create my form, reaction of post. And right now I want to create about, let's say, 5 input tags. Create it on the line. Okay, the first input tag will be for the name. So I'm going to use placeholder, enter your name. I think the next one will be for your email. So enter your email. The next one will be for your number. Enter your number. This one is going to be for your date of birth. So I'm not going to put a placeholder on this. And this one is going to be for your department. And name, text, email right here, number right here. So I'm going to give names to each of these input. This is the first name, rename. I'm going to copy, and the next one is going to be for the email. And the next one is going to be for your number. I'm going to take this number. Next one is going to be DOB, date of birth. The next one is going to be for the date. Right now I've given names to all of these, so basically I think the website is ready now to be uploaded to the IIS server. So I'm going to come here. Remember, your website should be in the www folder. And now I'm going to go to IIS server, and I'll click right here. I'll click on the site, right click, go to add website, and now I'm going to choose the path to my website, which is in the Internet Hub. www, the name is register, so I'm going to just check that. Then here, the site name, I'll call it website register. Okay, now the next thing I want to choose is the port number. I'll give port number like 360, and everything is okay. I'll click OK, and there we go. So right now I'm going to go to registration, add default document, and in the default document I have my website. It's already added already. The main page is open first, but if you don't have the main page, you will have to add it from here. Like our main page was home.html. It's already there, so if it wasn't there, you will have to add it, because definitely whatever page you add in the default document will be the first page that will be opened once you open your website. Once you open your website with your port number, that will be the first page that will be added. So now let me add it from here. So home.html. So this is going to be the first page that will be displayed on the browser once the website is accessed with the local host. So I'll click on OK, and for me to test if the website has connected, I'll have to come here. I click on localhost. The port number is 360. I'll enter. Okay, so here is the website. It's connected to the server already, so everything is good. Just that if you want to access your database, you will have to run your website on a server. If it's not running on the server, you're not going to definitely access your database. So here, Microsoft Access normally is not going to access the server directly. So that's why we're going to need an external engine in which will act as a middleman between the IIS server and the MS Access database. So now the first thing you have to do is you have to download the Microsoft Access database engine. Once you click, you're going to get a pop-up which will ask you to download either the 64-bit or the 32-bit version of it. So as of now, I have it installed on the machine, so that's why we're going to use it directly. Now you can download the 2016 version or the 2010 version. So I'll prefer you search for the 2010 version because that's the one that works the most. 2016 is somehow conflicting. So okay, the first thing we have to do here is to style the HTML. Now let's give some styles to the HTML. I want to create a button right here. That button is going to have a type of submit. So basically we're going to be doing two things here. We are going to create the website in such a way that users can enter all of their information and then it goes to the database, that's MS Access database, and also users can also fill a form in such a way that that form is going to be sent to an email. So we'll do all those two backends together. Okay, now let's start by let's start by creating our star.css. So the first thing I want to do, I want to use MS Access. Okay, I'm going to access. So I'll open the app and wait for it to load. And there we go. I'll click on the blank database. You have to choose a name to your database. I'll use student. Okay, sorry, students IIS, and I'll choose a specific part where it will be stored. It's gonna be stored in this PC. Remember, we're saving the www folder. Click on local Dixie, click on Init Hub, click on www. Here is where the database is going to be stored. So I'll just click on create, and there we go. It's gonna be created. Now I want to come to the website. Now we have name, email, number, date of birth, and department. So now I'll come right here. There are some things we missed out. Date of birth was supposed to be date, and department is supposed to be department, and yeah, there we go. So right now I'm refreshing the server. So there we go. We have the date of birth and the department. So in the database, I'm going to be creating columns. I'll switch to data sheet design view, sorry. So the table name is student. You can give it any name, any random name. Okay, yes. So ID, I'll leave the ID to open number. I'll give the name. Next, we have email. Next, we have date of birth. I'll give it as DOB. The next, department. Department. So date of birth. Okay, so there we go. Right now I created a database already. I'll switch to design to data sheet view, and yes, there we go. So we have the name, email, date of birth, and the department. So now I'll come to my ASP codes, insert.asp. So now we have variables right here, and the variables normally in Visual Basic, to declare variables you use dim, So I've declared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7 variables. So the first variable I have here is name, and we are going to be inserting the form name right there, the input name. So the action is going to be inserted. It's going to be the ASP code. It's going to be applied on the ASP code. So I'll just paste the related part to the ASP right there on the action, from action. And remember, the method is post since we are inserting data. The next, I would have to change this name. I have to copy this, come to the ASP. The first one is for name. I'll paste the name right here. The name is name. The next one is for email. I'll come right here to insert. Okay, phone. Paste the email right here. Next, phone number. I'll copy. Now paste the number right here. Next is for date of birth. Copy. And now paste it right there. Next is for the department. Oh, sorry, this one was supposed to be for the department. I'll have to copy this, paste it right here. So the department, the date of birth, I'll give it the name. The name is date. So I'll paste it right here. So now the next thing you have to do here is I'll navigate. Let me navigate down. Okay, you see this connection tree? I'll replace the part as part of the source to be the part of the database we just created. So I'll get out of the database and I'll navigate to a database folder. This PC, local Dixie, inlet hub, the PW root, and there we have student IIS. I'll right click on it, click on properties, come to security. I'll copy the path, and the path is going to be pasted right in here, and there we go. That means this is where our data is going to be inserted into. And remember, this is the version of the database engine we're using. So generally, once we send data into the database using the form, it will be sent through the Microsoft database engine. So you identify what version of the engine you're using by this number at the end. If the number is 12, that means it's 32-bit. If it's 16, that means you're using 64-bit. If for now we're using 32-bit. So the next thing we'll have to be doing here is editing this insert query. Okay. Now I'm going to cancel this. Not really necessary. So I'll come to the insert query. Okay, insert into name. Let's check the database again. Student IIS. I'll open it to check. Okay. Open. I'm going to edit that. I'll change it to name. Paste it right there. The next is email. Change it to email. The next is date of birth. DOB, department, which is place right here. So now on the database we have no number. So now I'm going to add the new column for numbers. So I'll click on number. So here will be number. Click enter. So I'm going to copy the name. Place it right here. So I'm going to insert into name, email, number, DOB, and department. And the columns that I'm inserting them into are those columns, and the values are going to go to name, email, phone, DOB, and course, which is the form that we are inserting the data into. So don't worry about this code, it's very simple. Once you get it, you understand it. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is to test this. When you get your database engine installed, definitely this is going to work. 360. Now let's test it with name. Let's test it with the name, code, email, code, at gmail.com. Yeah, number 7. I'm just going to enter some random numbers, and date of birth, we'll choose a random date, and the department, maybe IIS software, SWE, and I'll click on submit. Now it's going to load. So data insertion failed. It's a syntax error in the insert into statement. So let's check. The same table name. Okay, now basically it shows us an error. Let's try it again. So right now I will enter the name, the email, and the number. So date of birth, I'm going to enter any random date like this. So when I click in here, click on submit, it's going to send all the data that is entered into this form into the database. So when I click on submit, and there we go, you were added, you were registered successful. Forget about this message under here. This message is based on another project. So now let's refreshing the database and see whether the data has been added. So there we go, we have our data which has been added to the database. So you can do it for fun. Maybe you want to add another name, select group 1210, you insert, it's going to be inserted successful, and you refresh, you're going to see the next data that will be inputted into the database. So now let's go through the codes again. So from the very first stage of this code, you have this on error review. Now normally once you insert data, you get this display, you get this display, you get this display to you. Normally it's being displayed because I love logging errors. I love seeing my errors every after each stage I do. So now I'm going to resume gaining the errors by just typing the syntax. Normally every language has a syntax. For you to resume an error caching functionality, you have to click on, you have to type this in your ASP codes. So the next thing is declaring variables. I've declared some variables right here, and variables are just containers for holding values. So now these variables are going to be used within the code still. So now the first thing here, we never use this, so I'll just comment it for now, and I'll come right here. That will be your tax. You're going to add the number into the database. So right now the next thing is the syntax for accessing the elements in the HTML. Normally you have a form. Here is a form right here, and the form action goes to the insert.asp. Now normally the insert.asp has the ability to access any of these input fields and then do whatever I want to do with it. So now the next thing is accessing that, giving these variable values. So the first variable we're going to take here is name. So we take a name variable, and then here is the syntax for requesting the form name that's an input field from the form. So here we have the first input field, which is name, and the name we are going to request for it by using trim request form name. That's request for an input field in the form which has the name of name. The next we request for the email. The next we request for the name, which is the date. The next name we're going to request for is for the department, that is the department input form. The next thing is if the name or the email or the phone or the DOB or sorry, let me cancel this, we never use this, or the date of birth or the course is empty, then we are going to write an error like all fields are required. So let's test that. If in case you don't enter all the data, probably let's leave out, let me refresh, let's leave out one of these data, let's just insert only one of it. So you see it gives you this message, all fields required, and that's not for nothing, it's because of the codes. Now this if statement, it states that if any of those input fields, which is the email, the name and the course is empty, it will show you an error which will tell you that all fields are required. The next thing is we are going to TP the server. We TP the server that is a connection that is supposed to be create a new object which will be the ADODB connection. So we're going to determine the connection. Now the connection string is going to connect both to your database engine and to the source of your database file, just actual database file. So now the next thing in this code is to open the connection. Remember that we have set the connection to an ODB connection, ODB connection, and now we are opening the connection in order for data to have the ability to enter into the database. So now if the connection is wrong, if the connection does not establish, it's going to show you a message that connection failed, and that will give you the description to that error. The next thing is the insert query. Normally we are going to writing SQL codes within the SQL variable we declared right up here. So here is the insert query. We are going to insert into the table name is students, which is the table name of our database. So now we are going to access each of the columns in database, which is the name, email, date of birth and the department. And here we have the name, email, date of birth and the department in database. And now the next thing is we are going to use the ASP syntax for accessing the variables which stored all the values that were entered into the form. So now here is the syntax. The values we are going to be inserting are the values that we have declared right up there, which is for the name, the email, the DOB and the course is right up here. We already requested for all of the forms. We requested for the name, the email, the DOB and the course. So which is what we are using right here, name, DOB and the course. So The next thing is we're going to execute that connection. Executing the connection is for you to get a display on your screen that if the connection is successful, it will show you that it's successful. If it was not successful, it's going to show you an error. So now the next thing is, if since we have opened the connection, automatically if we use error.number equals 0, it's going to lock us that connection state on our page. So now if the connection is successful, we are going to if the connection is successful, that means if there's the error.number in ASP normally tells you that if there is a 0 error, that's why you see error.number equal to 0. That's if there was 0 error. Or if you want to swap this, if you want to put the fail message here, you are going to put if the error.number equals to 1, it will lock in this, and then else you instead take this man and put it here. But it's more better to use this way because you cannot determine the amount of errors. And now if there's 0 error based on our syntax right here, we are going to get a response, a register successful, because there's no error. The data will enter into the database. Now else, it will show you data insertion failed, just like the first time it showed data insertion failed, and then it's going to give the description to that error. Normally this is the syntax. You don't need to over-ask about it. Just go to the Microsoft website. You're going to learn more about ASP codes. Now we have executed the connection. We open the connection. We open the connection right up here. This is where the connection started. So now the next thing is to close the connection. Immediately the data is inserted. We have closed the connection right here. Now we are going to set the connection to nothing, just for that the next connection to take place without disruption of the first connection. So right now, if you enjoyed the tutorial, subscribe, like, comment and share.